are now watching what?
Boxing!
Let's get it.
Yeah, I want to talk about the resume of Terence Crawford real quick because it seems to be that thing is starting to resurface now on a lot of these boxing channels. They're out here discrediting Terence Crawford's resume, man. I'm not gonna sit up there. I mean, I made a video touching on his resume in the past. Forgot how long ago it was, but I'm not gonna get into like in depth with it. But just gonna say a few things about it, man. You know, because apparently Terence Crawford's resume doesn't hold a candle to Errol Spence's resume. This is what the narrative is that's going around. Pretty much everybody that Errol Spence has fought at 147 is much better than the entire 3 weight classes that Terence Crawford has fought in. Whatever, 135, 140, 147, right? So I'm just gonna say a few things. Let me just take you back a little bit to resume of Terence Crawford. So pretty much, man, Terence Crawford, his first fight, he was 138 pounds. So that is like pretty much 140 pounder, like junior welterweight. So that was like his first fight. Then his next one, 137, then 138, and 137. You know, all of those were like pretty much 140. Then he went down to 134 and a half, so that's like 135, then 143. So if you look at 143, you say, what is that? 140 is the weight limit. So then that's probably borderline. That's like 147, welterweight pretty much. When you look back at all of this, he's at 38 fights. Errol Spence is at 28 fights, right? So Errol Spence, let me run to Errol Spence's resume real quick while I'm talking about it. Errol Spence, he started his career at 154 pounds because he fought at 149 and a half. One of the 3 Garcias he has fought in his career. His first fight was a Jonathan Garcia, and it resulted in a knockout. So he's fought 3 Garcias: Jonathan Garcia, Maggie Garcia, Danny Garcia. Strange. Okay. Now, you know, early on in these boxers' careers, most of them, if not all of them, haven't really fought stiff competition because they're building their resumes up. They're trying to get their feet wet. This is how they're building up their status. They're building up their, you know, they're not gonna put a brand new boxer in there that's, you know, having a pro debut. They're not gonna put him in there with somebody that they know, you know, pretty much it could hurt him or really do a lot of damage to him. So they gotta build him up a little bit, man. That's just what it is. That's not just with Terence Crawford, Errol Spence, all these fighters, same thing, right? So when you go look at Errol Spence, most of his career is at 147 pounds. He has a fight at 156. So 156, that's over 154. So that's probably, that's like 160 territory, man. So he fought at middleweight. That's pretty much a middleweight fight, man. And right here, 153, 146 and a half, 148, 148, 149. All of those is super welterweight, pretty much, those ones. So he has fought, most of those fights were like his earlier fights. Only a handful of them, a handful of them were welterweight. Most of them were 154 in that range, and like maybe one seems like that was like 160. All the rest of his career was welterweight, 147. So Terence Crawford's been at 135, 140, and then he's at 147. So at 147, they had 2 common opponents, Kell Brook and Sean Porter. If you take away Kell Brook and Sean Porter, they don't have any other common opponents at 147. So he had Terence Crawford's his competition at 147 is always frowned upon by the Errol Spence fans for some reason, as if Amir Khan didn't really do a lot in the sport. Jose Benavidez, he was undefeated. Mean Machine was undefeated. Jeff Horn, we can say whatever you want about Jeff Horn. He had a title, right? He had a title, and I'm pretty sure it wasn't Errol Spence ready to jump on Jeff Horn. So what if Errol Spence would have fought Jeff Horn? Would people be saying, who was Jeff Horn? No, they wouldn't be saying that. They'd say, Jeff Horn is the guy that beat Pacquiao. That's what you would hear. Jeff Horn beat Pacquiao, so Jeff Horn is somebody. Well, Bud fought Jeff Horn, but Jeff Horn ain't nobody. See how that go? This is what they do. This is the games they like to play. So he fought Jose Benavidez, undefeated. Mean Machine, undefeated. Amir Khan, champion, great resume. And then you got Jeff Horn. He was a champion. He took the belt from Horn. So everybody else was the common opponent, which was Kell Brook and Sean Porter. Then you got Errol Spence. He had Ocampo. I don't want to run through his whole resume at 147, but it's a lot of dudes that he fought at 147. And pretty much when these people say Terence Crawford's resume is trash, what they're saying compared to Errol Spence, they're telling us that pretty much because the only opponents that made that really had names that was really somebody on Errol Spence's resume was what? Oh, you can argue what? Chris Algieri, Sean Porter, Kell Brook, Lamont Peterson, Danny Garcia, Mikey Garcia too. So what they're saying is these dudes that I just named is better than an entire 2 divisions worth of fights plus the 147 division. You're telling me 5 or 6 fighters Errol Spence has fought at welterweight, they're better than all 3 divisions that Terence Crawford's fought in. And that's bullshit. It's total bullshit. The reason why I say that is because some of those fighters Terence Crawford also fought. So you got to take away from that if that's the case, man. And you know what else I find really strange? They bash Terence Crawford's resume as to say he ain't fought nobody. When you say he ain't fought nobody, right? That's also saying Terence Crawford don't have skills. Meaning you're putting him in the same class as you would put a Jerron Boots in, because you hear them say that all the time about Boots. He hasn't fought anybody. And they're saying the same thing about Terence Crawford. He ain't fought nobody. He ain't fought nobody. So that means you're taking away from Terence Crawford's skill level. At the same time, you fucking idiots want to see him fight Errol Spence. Why would you want to see Errol Spence fight somebody that, in other words, is a bum? Make that make any kind of sense? Oh, it don't matter because he got the belt. Okay, he got the other belt. But you just discredit Terence Crawford for fighting somebody you say ain't fought nobody, which is Jeff Horn. He had a belt too. So which one is it? Is Terence Crawford a worthy opponent or is he not a worthy opponent? I mean, I'm trying to understand y'all logic, and it's not making much sense. It's not adding up. Because you want him to fight, you want to see the fight between Errol and Bud. You want to see the best fight the best. But then you say he ain't fought nobody. So if Terence Crawford ain't fight nobody, how is he one of the best that Errol Spence is going to face? Come on, y'all. Y'all got to make shit make sense here. I really ain't got really much more to say. That's all I really wanted to really touch on, man. I ain't got nothing else. That's all I got. Hey, y'all let me know what you think about this, man. Am I making sense or am I not making sense here? You'll be the judge. This is Rubber Life Boxing. I'm off this, man. I'll catch y'all later on the next one, man. And I'm out.